I want to duplicate what I've made here. I want to make a copy of that rib, and if I can, still leave the curves, I'm sorry, the circles, um, so that they can change the shape and keep the curve as my reference. Okay, so what I'm going to do is select the rib curve in the outliner here, and I'm going to select each one of the circles and then the lofted surface, and then I'm going to say edit duplicate special, and I'm only going to want one copy. Because I have this selected, duplicate input graph, it's going to keep the history, so the circles will create the new. And I found for some reason it worked best if I said new group. So when I say duplicate special and I drag down my duplicate, see, I've got this group, and now let's say if I grab a circle, let's grab one, then we can see if it has any effect. See, I can change the surface now. So I managed to keep that duplicate. So that's one possible strategy you can use that might make it easier for you to build your next rib. You can see in this case, um, what I'd probably have to do is, I'm not sure I could do quite that extreme a change. I can try it, but definitely made more sense to build these in sequence, right? So if I build that, in other words, if I pull that circle up to get it closer to the sternum, and I get the one next to it up as well, seems to be holding up pretty well. Sometimes with polygons, I've noticed that the way, or the changing dramatically positions of those circles will cause a problem. These guys, this is pretty, still, this is one of the true ribs, so it's still going to have a little more its own separate entrance, because right now we're looking at what, 7, 8, so 10. What do we get? Yeah, actually it's the start of that merger where the ribs are all starting to contribute. So we might want to get it in position and then again use it. Okay. So anyway, that's how you can duplicate it. Um, and that would be one strategy. Another thing you could do is just take the curve and the circles, and create a new one, or you could just make a new curve and new circles if you felt, for example, that the rib you were trying to um, create was too different than the one you had made previously. Okay, so we can always, again, keep editing those according to what you want. Man, would it have made sense to keep these in order when I made them. There we go. Okay, instead of skipping around. I'm sure there's a way I can change that order. I think all I have to do is middle mouse drag. If I middle mouse drag it, it's going to try to make it a group. But I think if I get it in between, yeah, see, initially it starts giving you a plus sign. But if you get to a spot where you're not touching anything, it should change the order. So let's see if I can put these in the right order. So which is the guy that's closest to the, okay, that's number 1. So I'm going to drag that up there. That's the second one I want. That's the third one. I missed one, right? That's the fourth one. Now, if you do that wrong and you accidentally drag it on top of it, you see what happens? This one gets a plus. That one now becomes a child. This becomes the parent. So you don't want to do that. You want to keep them individual. So you want to go in and actually drag it to the space in between. You can either drag it out or you can say unparent, and it should be now. Okay, now it's downward. All right. So now I have them in the right order. You could double click it and physically rename them. Not sure why I named that one 14, but I did. Okay, so now they're in the logical order, which would make more sense when I go to copy them, or when I use them later I can. Okay, that's the end of that lesson.